Hi.
Hello everyone. Désirée and I had the idea to make a video about how we both came to veganism. And,
Yay, vegan!
yay, vegan! We just haven't had enough protein today. Just a little tired. It's 10 o'clock at night, and so, Désirée, what made you wind up being vegan for these last few years?
I think it was Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tyler is our 3-year-old son, and he, when I was pregnant with him, I just overnight started hating meat. It completely grossed me out, made me really nauseous. My mom cooked, she always cooks a lot of meat, and whenever I would go to her house, I didn't want to stay in the kitchen at all. Got to a point where I didn't want her to fry my food in the same pans, and I was pregnant, so everyone's like, oh yeah, your hormones, you'll calm down when you've given birth and everything. It was my second child.
Weren't you eating fish at the time? Or
I was still eating fish, yeah, I ate a lot of smoked salmon back then, and I still ate eggs, and I had milk too. I lived right next to a farm, and we had raw milk. And so throughout the pregnancy, I just didn't eat meat all of a sudden anymore. And I actually traveled here in Canada at the beginning, before I even knew I was pregnant, and all of my friends here were vegan or vegetarian. So I spent a full month eating almost exclusively vegan food without really meaning to, but it just, everyone I hung out with was eating amazing vegan foods. That's what I did. And then when I went back, I was living in Germany at the time, I couldn't go near meat anymore. So then I had Tyler in May of 2013, and I gradually stopped liking fish as well, and then I didn't feel like eating eggs anymore.
There wasn't this overarching ethical reason why at the time you weren't eating certain foods. It was more just feelings.
It was just my body. Yeah. I would go to eat something, like fish.
But you weren't it's not like you were abusive towards animals.
No.
No.
Oh, in what way?
Some people say, well, I went vegan for ethical reasons.
Right.
But you're not
I didn't think about how evil the dairy industry is.
Yeah, it wasn't really
then decide. No.
Am I being abusive towards animals? It was just
No, it was more my body doesn't want this,
yeah.
so I'm going to eat other things. And then gradually, I was aware of some of it, but a lot of people, I disassociated. I didn't really want to think about it. And as I was moving away from those foods, that's when I started reading more and kind of looking at the ethical part of it. But that came a lot later for me. And for me, honestly, it was just the end of 2014 and beginning of 2015, I kind of just noticed that I was vegan.
Yeah, I think people have this misconception that girls will go vegan for the ethical reasons, and guys will go vegan for the diet reasons.
Health
it's
versus
a misconception that a lot of people have about girls and guys going vegan.
I think everyone is really individual.
Yeah.
And their path to veganism is very individual. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know some amazing people that have been vegan since birth, and they've had their parents just show them this lifestyle, and then I know other people who just realized how brutal it is and just stopped, and they're like, nope, I can't support that. Now that I really know that and honestly, am facing that truth, I don't want to be a part of it. And then I know other people like me who kind of progressed to it and graduated to just, for me it was very organic. And the only thing that I really chose to not to have anymore was honey. And that was kind of when I noticed I'm vegan, I looked it up. I'm like, well, what is a vegan? And I read some articles and I looked at food charts and stuff. I'm like, oh, I think I'm a vegan except for honey. And then I thought about honey and I read up on it and educated myself a little bit. And
it was like a choice for you, right?
Yeah, so that one is something that I decided. And I'm like, no, I don't want to eat honey.
And you don't really have a lot of you don't have sugar in the house anyway, so like you're not a big fan of sweets, so you were using it, I think, just for baking, right?
Baking and teas, but we just use agave syrup.
Yeah, it was more like I could use this honey, or I could just use these alternatives that are, less expensive and healthier and don't cause the suffering or the theft of bees.
Yeah, of bees, because I mean, for me, I've always valued bees a lot, and I thought...
I can tell because you keep saving them
in
the house.
Yeah. And wasps and everyone. But I never realized how damaging it is to actually purchase the honey, and that was... As soon as I confronted that and learned about it, I'm like, okay, I don't need to do this. I really don't want to do that. And instead I planted plants that bees like and stopped buying it and tell my friends, you have choices like agave syrup. But like what you said about sugar, like I hadn't bought refined white sugar in years. Like this is way before even not liking meat. I've never liked refined sugar. I've never liked bleached flour.
So as far as your journey into veganism, you sort of noticed that you were a vegan accidentally about 3 years ago.
Yeah, well, what are we in 2 years ago? Yeah.
But you didn't.
I think I had been vegan quite a while at that point. My mom had bought eggs, and I had eggs in the fridge because my mom was here, and she still cooked with that, but I hadn't eaten them in a long time at that point. Just not appetizing.
You grew up eating meat and were definitely not born vegan.
Definitely the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well this has been enlightening, Désirée. Thank you for sharing with everybody your journey into veganism.
Thanks for listening. Oh, and now both my kids are vegan and happy vegans, and I give them birthday presents like this amazing book.